Ready? I would like to call to order the regular city council meeting. City Clerk Duarte, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Ashton.
Present.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Here.
Councilmember Saab.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Frometa.
Present.
And Mayor Pacheco.
Present. I would now like to have Councilmember Rick Rodriguez do the invocation for us.
Please stand. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to come before you here at this time, at this place. Lord, we pray for decisions and we pray for grace and forgiveness, Lord. We pray for the opportunity to serve you unconditionally, Lord. Lord, we thank you for the people that gather here to pay tribute to our great city. And Lord, we pray for our police and our fire and all our public safety servants that go out there and face harm every single day, Lord. Lord, thank you for this opportunity. We love to serve. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I would now like to have Councilmember Sean Ashton lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please, it's been a while, but a couple of weeks anyway. All right, if you could please stand, please place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is now time for City Council member announcements, requests for future agenda items, and conference meeting reports. I'll start off with my far left with Councilmember Alex Saab.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Welcome, everyone. Try to keep the comments nice and short. First of all, I want to extend a welcome to Executive Director of the Downey Chamber of Commerce, Michael Calvert, is in the audience. And also my Planning Commissioner, Overas Rometa. And also Super Kawanian, Alex Gaitan, front row, bringing great awareness to lots of things going on in the world, and doing a great job as always, educating and motivating our youth. And we just want to say thank you for doing that. Thank you for making our community great, as always. Couple events I wanted to make the public know. Number one, tomorrow is the City Affairs meeting with the Chamber office right here next to the library. And that is at 12 o'clock, and the topic will be the census, this year's census, which I think going out in a few weeks. So everyone is welcome at 12 o'clock. And then tomorrow afternoon, after much long awaiting, is the groundbreaking for the Spring Hill Suites Marriott, and that's over at the lot at 9066. It says Figueroa right here, but 9066 Firestone, and that is next to Dunkin' Donuts. That's a lot that's kind of behind Dunkin' Donuts, and cities for years have been working hard on that. I know Aldo Schindler and Gilbert Leves and John Osque and everyone involved in working hard to make that happen, and we're finally going to see a groundbreaking tomorrow, and that's a great addition to our city. The proprietors are local residents and have a great reputation in the community, and it's going to be an incredible addition to the city. Many cities would die to have a new hotel of that magnitude come into their city. It brings a lot of added revenue to the city and just brings great development. It's a perfect location on Firestone, so that's going to be a great event tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And then Saturday, big day is the TLC 5K walk run. That is at 8 a.m. at Apollo Park. Everyone is welcome. I think there's still an opportunity to register at the door. I don't think you can do it online anymore. And that's TLC is an incredible organization that helps over 2,000 students a year in everything from deaths in people's families to mental health issues and many things that happen just in life. So that's a great organization, and we could use all the help we can, residents to come out and support it. And then Wednesday, next Wednesday, I'm sure our mayor's going to talk about it, is the Coffee with the Cop at Starbucks over in Imperial. It's always a great event. Our chief does a great job in reaching out to the community. He's very personable and very approachable, and he'll be there with all the brass and gives an opportunity for people of all ages to come out, interact with the police, have any questions they may have, and this is a good community event. I want to thank, if you haven't noticed, over on Downey Avenue, there's 2 new pieces of art that were erected this weekend. There's one on the corner of 2nd Street and Downey Avenue, another one on 3rd Street and Downey Avenue, and that's the first 2 of a few that are going to be erected there on the downtown area. And if you haven't had a chance, they're really nice addition. They fit real nice in the street and the color scheme, and just a really nice addition. So I invite you to come out and look at it. A few weeks ago, there was an event at the Space Center. I had an opportunity to attend, and it was a dedication of 2 special benches that recognizes the hardworking men and women that work there at the facility, over the years, that really put people on the moon, literally, and into space. And I just want to thank all those who are involved in that, the Aerospace Financial Partners Credit Union, and some of the other, and obviously Ben Dickow and everyone at the Space Center for doing that. That was just a great event. And the art, I think that was it. And if you haven't had a chance, the quarterly Parks and Rec magazine came out, and if you haven't had a chance, there may be some in the back. But if you get a chance, on the back, there's a real nice breakdown of where the Measure S projects, where there's, how far along they've been progressing. I think it's a good information piece for people who we get asked often, when it's from a park and open or Golden Park or whatnot, and it gives a real good, actually very precise, how much percentage of the project has been completed. So if you have any questions, I invite you to look at that. And that concludes my comments, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Next up, Mayor Pro Tem Claudia Frometa.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, everybody. Welcome the students from Downey High School, Kiwins, right, Alex? It's always nice to see you. Welcome, everybody. Engaged communities make strong communities, and it is always a pleasure to have you visit our council chambers. This evening, I would like to talk a little bit about some of the things that have been going on in our community. I know Councilman Saab discussed many of the activities that we've had over the last couple of weeks. I had the pleasure to attend the grand opening of the Downey Ponytails opening day last Saturday. And over the course of the next few weeks, we will have, of course, spring and spring season, and we will have West Downey League and the rest of the organizations that really make our community strong. I had the pleasure to meet a lot of the parents, and having had my girls who are now in high school part of Ponytails many years ago, it is such a pleasure to see the parents that continue to be involved and the coaches that, again, give so many hours of their time and invest in our children to plant the seeds of good sportsmanship and certainly make our community a stronger place to live in. Council Saab also mentioned the great art sculptures that went up on Sunday down Downey Avenue, and he failed to mention that this is something that he, along with Council Member Rick Rodriguez and also other members of the Downtown Subcommittee, have been working on for several years. And so I really want to recognize the efforts that they've had over the years and the vision. So if you can please give them a round of applause for that. We always say that the pillars of a strong community, as I've mentioned, is parental involvement, youth activities, certainly strong engagement from sports and schools, but strong business growth. And he also mentioned the groundbreaking ceremony we will have tomorrow with Spring Hill Suites. But also one of the things that makes communities very robust is public art. And that engages, sparks conversation. And so for the next several weeks and months, we will see as various projects through Measure S come to completion, we will see in our civic theater and other parts throughout our city these pieces of art, and we just have to be very grateful to the leaders of this community that had this vision and continue to work together so that these things could happen. So thank you to everybody that was involved. I wanted to also mention that we are celebrating Day of the Reader throughout many of our schools this week and next. And so some of us, and including our police chief, visited some schools, and we just, again, say thank you. Thank you for being involved, and thank you for continuing to uphold the pillars that we see here every time we come together. Respect and responsibility and trustworthiness and citizenship and caring and fairness. That is so important to our community. There was a couple of reports that I asked staff to come back, and well, I'll get to that in a moment. There's a couple of events, and I won't repeat what my council member Saab mentioned, but I do want to let you know that if you are not part of a neighborhood watch group, please contact Jenny Aguirre in the police department. She knows the 240 plus neighborhood watch groups that are happening in our community. And it is important to plug in and know what is happening. We certainly have in our calendar some of these neighborhood watch groups happening in the various districts of our city, and those are continuing. Certainly those usually happen more as spring and summer come up. But also, Downey Walk for Water is happening March 7th, and I know that Alex and the wonderful group of young volunteers that is here will be presenting probably a little something later on. But we want to continue to support the wells and water in developing countries across the world. And Downey does a tremendous job, not only in fostering volunteerism in our community, but also helping developing nations through projects such as this. So thank you very much, Alex, and a young group of volunteers. Going back to what I initially said, our Director of Public Works, Delfino, thank you for the report you provided to the council, and again, for as a matter of record, and to make sure that our community and those streaming this council session live, if you can give us a little bit of feedback regarding, there's a couple of asks last council meeting. One was the speeding that takes place on Pangborn Avenue between Firestone and Florence, and I had mentioned to you I had attended some neighborhood watch meetings, and residents along Pangborn indicated their concern about that. And then secondly, there was an issue that was brought up regarding the construction going on Paramount in some enhancements that are going to be happening on the corner of Paramount and Firestone. But if you can please provide some feedback regarding those two asks, please.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem Frometa. Regarding the first one on Pangborn Avenue, I guess there were some traffic concerns and speeding issues that were relayed to us on the segment of Pangborn Avenue between Firestone Boulevard and Florence Avenue. So what we did was we looked at the situation at the traffic flows. I observed out there one day last week, and I did notice that there are existing radar speed feedback signs that are already on that segment of Pangborn Avenue. The street is posted 25 miles per hour already. And then there's a four-way stop at the intersection at Cecilia Street. And what it is that most of the vehicles are basically trying to bypass Firestone Boulevard to get onto Lakewood. So what they do is they turn right on Pangborn Avenue and then turn left on Cecilia Street. The street is relatively narrow, and there are cars parked on both sides of the street. So hopefully that situation will mitigate most of the speeding issues that have been happening in that neighborhood. We have also worked with the police department, and maybe the chief can add more to it, but they have already provided increased enforcement in that area.
Thank you, Delfino. Madam Mayor Pro Tem, after the direction at the last meeting, we had directed our motorcycle officers to provide extra traffic patrol in the area on Pangborn, and following the information that Mr. Kansuji shared with us, over the course of an entire week, we had motor officers out there. They work 6 days a week. Unfortunately, one of them was off sick a day, so we missed one day. But they were able to issue 5 citations for speeding over the period of the 6 days that they were there. And they were there for a substantial number of hours. So not that there isn't a speeding issue there. I'm sure there are the occasional vehicle that goes through, and we will continue to address that. But what we didn't know, and was good news, is that there was not an overwhelming problem of speeding. We had the occasional vehicle that was traveling as traffic would allow them above the speed limit. And in that area, with the 85th percentile being well above the 25, we generally don't write tickets that close to that number. It's got to be a little bit higher regarding the safety issues. So, but we were able to write 5 tickets, and we'll continue to monitor it for enforcement.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, with regards to the work that's going on Paramount Boulevard, part of the delay in the construction was getting the encroachment permit from the railroad. They require us to get a permit before we can do any work within their right-of-way. So we have already gotten that permit, and they required us, or the contractor, to train their workers, getting a certification as flagmen. So we have also completed that work. The contractor is planning to mobilize and get back and get started to finishing up the curb within the railroad right-of-way, to slurry seal the street, and to do the permanent striping in the next 3 to 4 weeks. In the meantime, there are some safety issues that have been brought to our attention, so we will be installing advanced signage that will let the vehicles or the motorists know that if they're on the left turn or on the left lane, that they will be making a left turn at the intersection. If they want to go through, then they would have to merge right. So we will install those additional signage, and we will try to grind out or obliterate the existing signage, the existing striping that have been painted black, because those are conflicting and they can cause some confusion out there. So we'll install the additional signs tomorrow, and we're working with a contractor to obliterate or grind the existing striping in the next day or so.
Thank you, Delfino. That is very, very helpful. That will help our community, certainly, and keep everybody safe with that additional signage. Thank you. With that, Madam Mayor, I don't have anything else to add or report.
Thank you. Next up, we have Councilmember Sean Ashton.
All right, good evening, everyone. I had very little report since I've been at jury duty for the past 2 weeks, so I did have the opportunity to attend the Keep Downey Beautiful cleanup 2 Saturdays ago off of Hall Road and Woodruff, and we had about 40 to 50 volunteers out there. The Congresswoman also came out to help us clean up a little bit, so it was a very nice event. And if you're interested in participating in that, the next one will be on Saturday, the 21st of March. It'll be at 9 in the morning, and it will be at Burns Avenue and Old River School Road. So right where the railroad tracks cross at Firestone and Old River, that area is where we're going to be looking at there. One item for somebody just walked in. So the president of the Chamber of Commerce, Carrie Uva, walked in as well. We can recognize her. And then one item for staff, and I've kind of mentioned this to certain staff members already, with RV parking on the streets, and just a concern that you know, we don't allow like large work vehicles to park on our residential streets, but we do allow RVs. I think there needs to be some consistency with what we allow with large vehicles parking on our streets, and if we could look into coming up with a way to enforce the rules equally when it comes to both large work vehicles and RVs. I think that'd be something that would be beneficial for our residents. So if there's a way we can look into that and come back to council with something to see if we can have a discussion on that.
Council members, we'll go ahead and do some analysis and bring something back to you.
Thank you very much, and that concludes my comments. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
And next, we have Councilmember Rick Rodriguez.
Well, thank you, Madam Mayor, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me to sit in the seat. As you can tell, I have a little sling on my arm, so I had some shoulder surgery, so I've been out for a little bit. But even with one arm, I try to attend as much as I can. So I recently went to a banquet with PTA, and I have to tell you that it was very impressive to see how our Downey Unified School District does such a great job, not only teaching our kids and giving our kids great opportunity to become career ready and college focused and be good corporate citizens, but our teachers that are, some of them are former Downey school students themselves, and the recognition is just amazing. So I was able to attend that, as well as SIACA. I'm on the board of SIACA. I'm very proud of my relationship with SIACA because I started when I was mayor. I started this thing called Mayor's Choice, and now we've increased it to Mayor's Choice and Commissioner's Choice, as well as 7 other cities have now adopted the opportunity to share the costs of an adoption for 1 dog per month. So 7 dogs per month are being adopted in SIACA for free by a lucky person that wants to go there and get their forever friend. Let's see. Last week we had our Military Service Day. I'm on the Army Board of Directors as a volunteer position. I'm a combat veteran dad. My 2 sons are combat veterans, and I'm really excited that our Downey Unified School District opened their arms for our kids to take a look at the 180 jobs that are offered to youth today that are non-combat related, but have transferable skills to be able to come out and join the workforce after their military service time. So we had Downey High School, Warren High School, Columbus High School, and a lot of the kids were able to learn about, not having a college debt or not having to look for a job after college because they were able to transfer those skills. So that's it for me, Madam Mayor. It's good to be back, and thank you. Those guys are helping out in my district and with traffic and all the stuff you're doing. Thank you so much for doing that, my council colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome back. And I'd like to start off by just welcoming everyone. Thank you for joining me here or joining us here this evening. It's always a pleasure seeing everyone. To the Downey High School Kiwans, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for everything that you do at Downey High School and for everything that you do in the community. You truly are an asset to our city. And to Alex, wherever he's at, Alex Gaitan, thank him as well. Where did he go? Oh. So I just wanted to mention a couple of upcoming events. Downey Unified School District is having a water art show next Wednesday at State Gallery at 4 p.m. I also wanted to mention the Coffee with a Cop event, which will be at the Starbucks on Imperial Highway and Paramount Boulevard. This will be at 6 p.m., so please join us and talk to officers and get to know them and get to learn how to keep your community safe and keep your family safe. Also, I think everything else was mentioned. I did want to bring up a matter of concern. This would be on 3rd Street and Paramount Boulevard. When you're traveling westbound on 3rd Street, I've noticed that the signal takes longer. Sometimes it skips. And usually when you're traveling eastbound, it doesn't skip. But if you're traveling westbound, sometimes you're waiting 5 to 10 minutes, and I've noticed this happening on a number of occasions. So I wanted to see if we could look into that, because sometimes there'll be a lot of cars waiting for that traffic signal, and with all the construction that's happening on Paramount Boulevard, I know people can get frustrated. All right, thank you. And now it's time for presentations. So this presentation is the Mayor's Impact Award. It is a special presentation because I know this individual very well. And I have been trying to award him or give him some kind of recognition since last year, but he was in the academy and it was a difficult time to get him to come to the council. So it's with great pleasure to honor this individual. So I'd like to invite up Andrew. So tonight, we are honoring Andrew. Andrew is the Downey High School graduate. He graduated in 2009, and he is currently working for Kern County Fire Department. He is being honored here today for his heroic efforts during the Thomas Fire, a massive wildfire that affected Ventura and Santa Barbara counties. Andrew was among 4 firefighters who went door to door in the early hours of the devastating Thomas Fire to alert and evacuate people from the oncoming wildfire. Because of this bravery and need to go above and beyond the call of duty, his work saved countless lives. I had the pleasure of meeting Andrew before he became a firefighter. He's always been a young man who went above and beyond for his friends and for others. I had the pleasure of meeting him because of my brother, Anthony Pacheco. And so because of him, I was able to meet his great family, who they actually live near me. But I know being a wildland firefighter or just being a firefighter, it's a difficult job, not only for the firefighters themselves, but also for the families who stay behind, who always have to worry about their loved ones who are battling these massive wildfires. So I would like to thank the parents. Thank you for instilling the passion of serving in your son and for making him the young man he is today. It all begins in the home, so thank you to the parents and to the family. Let's give them a round of applause. To Andrew, thank you for following your passion and for helping others. Thank you for your heroic efforts in saving lives. You are a product of Downey, and because of that, you make Downey a good city. You have had a positive impact in our city, and so it is with great pleasure to award you the Mayor's Impact Award. Thank you, Andrew. So I would now like to invite up our fire chief to say a couple of words.
What was that? Yeah, exactly. I don't know Andrew. I just was, the mayor had just asked, just prior to the meeting if I would speak a few words, but I'll be honest, I don't know Andrew, but it's not a surprise to me that, we hire several people from Downey High School, Warren High School, and, a large percentage of our department is from the city, and we've had, they've been excellent firefighters, so I'm sure, you can carry on the tradition with the Downey residents, the Downey High School, and the Vikings, and that. So, but obviously, he's the one that got away, and we're always looking for a good firefighter. So we'd love to have you come back back home and be a Downey firefighter. So, but again, I want to congratulate you on a job well done and representing the entire fire service. And stay safe and serve well. Thank you.
So I have here the Mayor's Impact Award. In recognition of your selfless dedication and always going above and beyond for others, your heartless efforts and accomplishments have been an enormous value to our community and have helped further the common goal of making our city a better place for all. This is signed by me, your mayor, and this is for you. And I also have a lapel pin, City of Downey, and hopefully this motivates him to come back home. So it's picture time, so I invite the family to come up. We have to take a picture all together.
Otherwise, we take it all back.
For the next presentation, I would like to invite up our city manager, Gilbert Rivas.
Good evening, everyone. It actually is a really special day, at least for those of us who work in management and run the cities and do the daily work that goes on a daily basis here. Every year, the International City and County Management Associations puts out a request from cities to participate in a competitive process to find out which cities across the nation are doing things through analytics and making sure that we're making decisions that are driven by data. As part of the International City Management's efforts to advance the practice of professional and local government management, ICMA awards certificates each year to recognize programs that instill a culture of performance management, pursue comparative analysis and data-informed decision-making, and promote transparency. Last year, the city submitted an application to the International City County Management Association for its Performance Management Award, and the city was selected and earned a Certificate of Achievement for its data-driven management reporting. Downey is among only 63 jurisdictions nationally to receive this Performance Management Award. Every meeting, we're up here and the council takes decisions. We want to assure that the residents know that the decisions that are being made are made through data, through analysis, through comparative studies. Every year we do a goal setting with the council, we monitor those priorities, and we conclude every year with this report to the community stating all the achievements that the city has received. We monitor those on a quarterly basis. All the departments here, they do a fantastic job getting the information out and making sure that the decisions that we're making are based on something that's real and performance-based. So it gives me great pleasure to award the mayor and the city council the ICMA award, if I can. Madam Mayor and city council members, if I can have you come down. Downey's fortunate to have the city council that understands that performance management is a key principle of professional local management, and this award demonstrates their commitment to data-driven decisions, transparency, and community engagement in an effort to continuously improve our organization. As such, tonight, we would like to present the city council with ICMA's Award of Excellence. Thank you, Mayor. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank all the department heads, the council, specifically Vanya de Rojas, assistant to the city manager, who actually put all the data together and submitted it. So thank you, Vanya, appreciate that. Thank you.
Congratulations, thank you.
We will continue on to the non-agenda public comment. Before we begin the public comment period, I would like to remind members of the audience of the city's meeting rules contained in the Downey Municipal Code, which rules are located in the back of the room. The City Council acknowledges the right of the public to address issues that are within the city's jurisdiction and invites the public to do so during the City Council meeting. However, this right must be balanced with the need of the City Council to conduct the public business in a fair and efficient manner, free from disruption or disturbance. Members of the audience who wish to address the City Council during public comment are reminded that the city's meeting rules prohibit yelling, whistling,
booing, screaming, and any other outburst that disrupts or disturbs the meeting. Any conduct that interferes with or disrupts persons who are addressing the city council, any conduct that interferes with or disrupts city council members while they are speaking, and any other conduct disrupts, disturbs, or interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting. If a speaker engages in this conduct or any other conduct that disrupts or interferes with the meeting, I will ask the city manager to have the speaker removed from the chambers until the end of the public comment period. For those who are audio or videotaping, the city's meeting rules prohibit recording from the middle aisles or from the front of the chambers. Recording activity may be performed while seated in your seat or from the back of the chambers. I remind speakers that each person has 5 minutes to speak and that your comments be addressed to me and not to any other council or staff member. Those wishing to speak may come forward. Hello.
My name is Alan Halstensgaard. I know a great book which I recommend you buy for yourself, Pro-Life Answers to Pro-Choice Arguments. The toll-free order line is 1-877-376-4567. Christians throughout, I'm quoting from page 370. Christians throughout church history have affirmed with a united voice the humanity of the preborn child and the duty to protect him. The 2nd century Epistle of Barnabas treats the unborn child as any other human neighbor by saying, "You shall love your neighbor more than your own life. You shall not slay a child by abortion. You shall not kill that which has already been generated." Epistle of Barnabas 19:5. The Didache, a 2nd century catechism for young converts, states, "Do not murder a child by abortion or kill a newborn infant." Didache 2:2. Tertullian said, "It does not matter whether you take away a life that is born or destroy one that is coming to the birth. In both instances, the destruction is murder." Apology 9:4. Reformer John Calvin said, "The fetus, though enclosed in the womb of its mother, is already a human being, and it is a monstrous crime to rob it of the life which it has not yet begun to enjoy. If it seems more horrible to kill a man in his own house than in a field, because a man's house is his place of most secure refuge, it ought surely to be deemed more atrocious to destroy a fetus in the womb before it has come to light." If any religious person is advocating abortion, they are not in line with the teaching of the historic Christian church.
Thank you. Next person.
So good evening. My name is Rodolfo Cortez Barragan. So I've lived in Downey in and out for a few decades of my life. I wanted to bring up a couple of issues that are not on the agenda. One is I was very interested to see what would be on the agenda today. And I know that in the past I've encountered issues with your website. And I know for a fact that I know other people have said this, and I've tried it on different computers, and I think it's really important for all the information that you put on the website to be more easily accessible. So I'm going to read to you the error message: signed in failed because the number of sessions has reached the license limit, or the user account has reached its session limit, or no named user has been allocated to the user account. So that's just confusing, and obviously that's not good for encouraging public participation. So I would hope that please fix that. There's some issue, and it happens over and over again. Sometimes, some weeks, it seems to be working fine. Some weeks, it's not. Okay, my second non-agenda comment. I'm very interested, as you all know, in producing change in the city of Downey. So I again did not see this information on the website, so I wanted to let people know. Thank you to the clerk for giving me the information that on July 3rd to August 7th, Downey residents who've lived in Downey for at least a month or have been registered to vote for at least a month, they will be able to file their nomination papers to sit up there where the council members currently are. Because we clearly, I think we need fresh perspectives. That said, though, my third non-agenda public comment item, I wanted to thank the council for something that I guess I've seen them do recently, and that has to do with opposition to a particular law, or it could have been a law. So that is SB 50. I have a feeling that my reasons for opposing SB 50 are different from the majority of the council members, but SB 50 would have taken away a lot of power from local cities, and especially local cities in terms of zoning. So it wasn't good on multiple levels, and it especially wasn't good because it attempted to address the housing crisis from what we call a market-driven perspective. So the next edition of the Downey City Council will be addressing this issue. Housing should be a guaranteed human right. There are governments here in this county that are pushing this. The Los Angeles City Council is very strongly considering enacting eminent domain to create public housing or truly affordable housing. This is the doctrine, legal doctrine, where governments, if there is a clear public need for a change, governments can take over private property and convert it to whatever vehicle will serve the public. So in the case of Downey, we need truly affordable housing. The council members, with the exception of Sean Austin, have not been advocating for the people on this issue. When the rents went up last year, the council members refused to help those very, very poor families, and that was unacceptable. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to need a new council that is going to push for housing as a human right in the city of Downey. This is not so complicated. There's wood, there's cements. We could make one small thing. It would be a tiny house lot. We could have tiny houses, and if we don't have tiny houses, well, at least maybe we could do the eminent domain. So that's where the city would say to the Eden Rock apartment complex that became famous, well, we're going to take over that land. That building will now be owned by the city. Cities have the power to do this. Governments have the power to do this. It's just that this particular government here refuses to do that because they refuse, of course, to help the people. So it's going to be very exciting to see the new city council as a resulting of the next elections in November. I'm going to be very excited about that. And everyone, remember to vote for the upcoming elections. You can also see me there, Rodolfo Barragan. Green Party for Congress, but do a lot more for this council to change it here. Thanks.
Next, welcome.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. My name is Tom Murray, and I'm the owner and president of Complete Landscape Care, an award-winning... Can you put the mic closer? Oh, sorry. A local, award-winning local family-run business for over 45 years, and your current landscape contractor for on-street landscape maintenance. I was currently informed we were not the successful bidder for the latest RFP. I'm here tonight to ask you not to take low bids and to negotiate the contract with us. We have proudly served the city of Downey for the past 7.5 years. Prior to January, we had not received any increases in 6.5 years. In 2018, we were forced to cut one man from our 4-man crew. In 2017, the state put into effect a 50% minimum wage increase to be phased in over 6 years. In addition to that, we must pay another $1.15 an hour for LA County Public Works prevailing wage. In April 2019, the city decided to go out to bid. We asked if we could negotiate. We were told no, because we had been working in the city too close to 10 years, and the city could not have a contract for over 10 years. In May 2019, bids from all the contractors were rejected because they were too many lows and highs. They wanted to pre-qualify bidders the next time. In June 2019, we again asked to negotiate and were told, okay. We gave several price options in July and were told they looked good. Then 2 weeks later, for reasons unknown to us, it went out to bid in August. Since 2018, we have been working with one less man and are still keeping up. The original specs only have us weeding, collecting trash, trimming every 3 months. The new specs are once a week frequency. In the pre-bid meeting, staff said that they would like to see 6 men with 2 trucks. We bid 5 men with 2 trucks, knowing from past experience servicing Downey that we could do a great job with 5 men, and when additional median items are added, Paramount and Firestone, we could add the 6th man. But it was not mandatory, or it was not in the bid specs. Any bidding contractor, as we do, would drive the areas and observe a 3-man crew and see that the areas look good, therefore only actually bid for 3 men, but yet say that they would provide 6. Our bid will not increase through the initial 3-year term of the contract and beyond, if possible. In closing, after almost 8 years of proudly serving Downey's medians, we know better than anyone the city's landscape needs and how best to maintain the landscape. Taking the lower bids is not always the best decision. And as for myself as owner, growing up in the city, you will not find another landscape company that will take as much pride or do a better job than us at any price. Again, as everyone seems to be happy with our work, our proven willingness to work with the city, the amount of money we have saved the city in the past, and in the best interest of the city, I am asking you to please consider negotiating the contract with us. Thank you in advance for your consideration in this matter.
Thank you. Since this item is not on the agenda, we can't discuss it, but I will be talking with staff in regards to getting more information. Okay? Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. Am I close enough? Okay.
That's fine.
My name is Alfredo Bañuelos. I'm a resident of Paramount. My family lives here, though. I've attended Downey High. Seems like I'm in and out of. I'm in Downey a lot. Quite frankly, just it doesn't really matter where I live. I think what's most important is that as governments make changes, we have huge influence on what's going on around us, as California does around the nation, and seems to be leading the way with progress in many respects. And so I'm here to speak on something I think that's out of the agenda, ordinance number 191416, regarding the changes to the rules of decorum.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's actually on the agenda?
It is? Okay. So can I still speak on it?
I would say please wait until we get to that item, and then you could speak on that.
Okay. Okay.
So you'll get full 5 minutes to speak on that item. So you'll get an opportunity to speak, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Unless there's anything else that you want to mention that's not on the agenda.
No, that's particularly what I wanted to speak on.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi. My name is Diana, and this is Jordan. We're from Downey High School, like mentioned earlier, and we just want to say thank you to the City Council for all your support in our Walk for Water. We really appreciate all of the support that we've gotten this past year and also last year, and we just wanted to represent our Walk for Water on March 7th at Downey High School. This year, our goal is 24,000 still, and we are still sticking with that goal to build 2 wells in a developing country. And we're working right now with all the schools in Downey. Today, we actually had a meeting with Warren, and we're partnering with Warren to make sure that we reach our goal of 24,000. And we just wanted to present to the city right now about donating for our cause and perhaps being sponsors for our Walk for Water and for the different costs that we're paying for it. Like our t-shirts and a lot of the other overhead costs that we have to maintain for our walk to occur. We also, last year we had a jerry can challenge, and we do want to bring that back with city council. We just wanted to challenge you guys again to perhaps carry a jerry can, which does weigh 5 gallons. And I remember Claudia from Meta carrying it with high heels. Thank you for carrying it.
I know Diana had already mentioned about like sponsorships for our Walk for Water and the Jerry Can Challenge, but I also wanted to personally invite all of you guys to our Walk for Water itself. Like Diana said, it's going to be at Downey High School on the track at March 7th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The cost for you guys would be $25, and we're really hoping if you guys could advertise to anyone you know, so like friends, family, trying to get as much people as possible out there to reach our goal. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any type of social media, something that you can email us so we can put that out?
We do have Instagram, and we do have a website, so we can definitely
Yeah, do you have like a PDF that you can
Yes.
email to us
Yes,
so we can
definitely.
send out?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I will be there. And I will do the jerry can challenge. I think all of us are going to do it. Oh, maybe all of us except for one.
Is Rick bringing the chap back again to do it?
You want more high heels?
Is there a second? Public comment closed. And next is the consent calendar. Are there any comments from the public on consent calendar items? And this would be anybody wishing to speak on, sorry, wrong one. Yeah. So anybody wishing to speak on the consent calendar?
That'd be items
Move
1
to
through
close public
14.
comment.
Second.
Oh. Is there a motion, second?
Yeah.
Okay, public comment period closed. Are there any council members that I would like to remove or abstain from an item?
I'm going to pull item number 8 and abstain from item number 6.
I need to abstain from item 5, 6, and 11. So item number 5, I need to abstain due to the fact I have rental property within that area. Item 6, because it's near my home, and item number 11, because of source of income.
And number 1 in the minutes.
And I'm sorry, yes, number 1. That wasn't here last time. Thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion, a second, to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Second.
Please vote.
The consent calendar was approved with Councilmember Rodriguez abstaining from items 1, 5, 6, and 11. Councilmember Saab abstaining from item number 6 and pulling number 8 for separate discussion.
Thank you. And the items pulled were 6 and 8?
No, just 8.
Only 8.
Only 8. Okay. All right, so item number 8.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. The reason I pulled number 8 is I had some concerns. I know we did the, let don't know, but community development, is this community development or public works? Public works. That's right. I know we had the bike master plan, which we adopted. I was on the council then. But I don't remember having a discussion regarding specifically adopting. What I'm concerned about, frankly, is the road diets unless I'm reading this incorrectly, there's going to be a road diet on Downey Avenue and Brookshire and Overscore Road, right, and Gallatin. Is that correct, Ms. Kasuji?
So as part of the bike master plan, there were projects that were recommended for implementation. I think that was adopted in 2015, and there was community outreach that was done at that time. Now, as part of the implementation now, what the item in front of you is for the professional services agreement with KOA Corporation to conduct a more community outreach to get input from the public as we try to move forward with some of the projects that are recommended. Some of the proposed road diet that you see here on this chart here, these are recommendations from the Bike Master Plan. Now, part of the scope that this company will be doing is as part of the outreach, depending on the comments that are received, they will make a recommendation looking at geometrics, traffic circulation, vehicle delays, and so forth, whether they will move forward with these road diets. So although these are proposed as part of the Bike Master Plan, these are not set in stone. So we can still make changes as the design process proceeds.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure. So this is, there's just gonna, this grant that we got is gonna be for them to study it further, but we're gonna have another opportunity to discuss, whether we wanna do the road diets or not.
That is correct. So I believe as part of this scope, there will be 4 community meetings that will be held, and then there will be a presentation to the City Council with their recommendations.
Okay, I'll move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Please vote.
The motion was approved unanimously.
Thank
Madam
you.
Mayor, I'd like to go ahead and move to open up public comment for the consent calendar, because I know the one gentleman that spoke earlier, he had to step out for something. He's back. I wanted to make
So
sure he got
for the
the
gentleman that wanted to come up and speak, we actually already discussed the item, but you may come forward, and I know you wanted to speak on this item, so you may.
I just thought of another item that I could have mentioned earlier and I didn't. So yeah, the item that I thought of that I wanted to and I didn't remember earlier I could have mentioned was the issue with the Delta Airlines fuel dump. I was really curious about that. I attended the Cudahy meeting that they had, and it's really concerning. I recall that day I was picking up my little nephew. My sister lives here in Downey, and so I pick him up from school sometimes, and so I was concerned. I spoke to her, and they told me that at the school they hadn't told her when she called the school to see if everything was okay. They weren't even aware of what had happened. So I'm just wondering what's been done here with regards to the city of Paramount and its residents that were affected by it. Now, on the issue of the ordinance, I just saw a problem with it as a matter of free speech. What seems to be the city's attempt to regulate free speech of the citizens, and it reminds me of somehow when sometimes we call companies and they tell us how much they care about us, and yet they leave us waiting on the line for so long, completely demonstrating the opposite. And so I see here some of the things that you're trying to do seems I just feel like there is no, the governments or leaders or you know, these type of spaces shouldn't limit the way in which people try to express themselves. And of course, if you know, a disruption, a protest is interrupting the time that you know, you're trying to get some work done or listen to another citizen, citizens' concerns, whatever, I understand that. But if they have a poster or something that they're trying to express, if they, what else does it say here? If they're trying to stand and it's not impeding the aisles, meaning it's not totally crowded, I don't see why anyone can't be doing that. Cheering, clapping, what really is the problem? I just really think that the city council is here to listen, and so many of these measures being taken, I think are limiting the way in which people can express their concerns, their grievances, and I just feel like that is what you're here for, and limiting that is really a violation of their rights, and that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate your comment. I did want to comment upon the agenda not being able to see the agendas on your on the website. Close. Second. Okay. Public comment period closed. I did want to mention that we're going to look into that to see if there's any glitches and to see if we can resolve any glitches. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Next is staff member comments. City Manager Livas, do you have any comments?
You closed it. Yeah.
We closed it.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a public comment period is now closed.
Yeah.
Okay. City Manager Livas, do you have any comments?
Just a couple of comments. First of all, in Measure S, there are a number of milestones that were accomplished. We have a couple of parks, Dennis Menace, that recently opened. We're really closing in on Golden Park here coming up. So half of the parks will be open. We have Station 1 that is opened, Fire Station 1. Fire Station 3 is a couple weeks behind, John? Okay, middle of March. So we're rapidly coming upon those dates. We'll keep you informed. The theater currently is going through a lot of renovations right now. As Councilmember Saab mentioned, there's some art pieces going in. We have 2 of them. We have another 3 or 4 that are slated, which is something that we've been anticipating for quite a while. So bear with us. The library also is moving along in a quite expeditious way, and so that will be coming this summer as well. So there are a number of projects coming on board and or coming online. So thank you to the staff for really working hard to get that. And again, I wanted to remind folks that the reason that those projects were done in such a way is because of the bond issuance requirements. We had to do them all at the same time. But nevertheless, they are happening now. And so thank you, Mr. Oscoe, and to the staff for working hard to make sure that we get those done. And I will remind folks, we did not hire one additional staff person to handle those particular projects. So there's been a lot of extra work placed on everybody's shoulders. So thank you, staff, for getting that done. And thank you to the community for being patient. But I think the results will speak for themselves once you see some of the things that are being done, especially at Golden Park, which will really, really, I think, knock your socks off. So it looks great. So that's all my comments.
Thank you. The meeting is now adjourned in memory of Fire Captain Raymond Figueroa, 35, and firefighter Patrick Jones, 25, of the Porterville Fire Department died in the line of duty. A moment of silence. Meeting adjourned.